go. Welcome back. So the last SCP video that I made did so much better than I could have ever anticipated. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And if you are here from the SCP subreddit, thank you even more. And on that last video, I had a few people comment saying that I should do a video about some lesser known SCPs. And I thought to myself, that's a really good idea actually, I should do that. So on this episode, we are going to talk about arguably one of the chillest SCPs that I have ever read about, and that is SCP-100. And before I get into this story, there is some redacted information in here, so when you hear me go, that is because that information has been redacted from the file. That is all. Alright, now let's get into it. These are the special containment procedures for SCP-100. SCP-100 is to have 6 guards patrolling the interior of the perimeter's fencing and 2 additional guards dedicated to monitoring the interior and exterior of both warehouses and the residential building, with rotations occurring every 3 hours. Any unauthorized personnel found within SCP-100 are to be detained for questioning prior to amnestic administration and release. 3 guards are to remain within the storefront of SCP-100 at all times, with rotations to occur every 8 hours. The storefront entrance is to remain locked at all times, with keys provided only to necessary personnel. Private property and no trespassing signs are to be posted on the storefront to deter any drivers from stopping at SCP-100. Any constructs SCP-100-1 creates are to be removed from SCP-100 and melted down into slag, with the exception of SCP-100-2-A and SCP-100-2-B. That is a lot of dashes, I will say. I know reading it is fine, but saying all these dashes is kinda difficult for my tiny brain. Too many syllables. Should SCP-100-1 become uncooperative, SCP-100-2-A and SCP-100-2-B may be removed from SCP-100 until the time that SCP-100-1 becomes cooperative again. The largest of the 2 warehouses within SCP-100 has been converted into a basic research facility, and all objects created by SCP-100-1, excluding SCP-100-2-A and 2-B, may be used for research purposes, but testing on SCP-100-1 itself may only be conducted with written permission from the acting head researcher. Alright, so after reading the special containment procedure for this SCP, it's clear that it's not very dangerous. It's at its original location, so it seems. They've got a couple of guards on staff, but it really seems like they're not all that worried about it. I mean, they let him tinker around in the shop and build his little creations, whatever those may be. But let's get into the description. SCP-100 is an abandoned scrapyard 80 kilometers from South Carolina, known as Jamaican Joe's Junkyard, Jubilee. The scrapyard covers roughly 5,000 square meters of fenced-off land, consisting of 2 warehouses, a storefront, a small residential building, as well as neglected land and land used for storage. SCP-100 holds roughly 1,500 vehicles, both pressed and unpressed, as well as roughly 1,400 kilograms of scrap, estimated to be worth around $5,000. SCP-100's anomalous effect manifests through SCP-100-1 and its constructs, including SCP-100-2-A and SCP-100-2-B. All autonomy is lost when SCP-100-1 or any of its creations cross the fenced perimeter of SCP-100, remaining in this state until reintroduction. Yeah, so it's very obvious that none of these are dangerous if they can't even leave the property of SCP-100. Whenever any of these creations leave, they just, I guess, become inert or inanimate objects, and then when they're reintroduced, they come back to life. SCP-100-1 is an autonomous sapient humanoid construct consisting of mostly copper piping, wiring, and other scrap metals. SCP-100-1 lacks the ability for written or verbal communication. However, it does possess the ability to communicate using rudimentary sign language. See, that's so cute. Little robot doing sign language. I imagine him being like Wall-E, I guess. I don't know why. That's in my mind. SCP-100-1 is just like Wall-E. SCP-100-1 is largely uninterested in conversation outside of sales, and information gathered from it has been limited. SCP-100-1 appears to possess skills in craftsmanship, demonstrating the ability to operate tools such as arc welders, drills, power saws, and also heavy machinery like car compressors and forklifts. SCP-100-1 possesses the ability to create autonomous constructs similar to itself using material available within the site. SCP-100-1 tends to create 4 specific animals: iguanas, crocodiles, turtles, and flamingos. However, SCP-100-1 has been known to craft other species, such as domestic pets. To maintain compliance, SCP-100-1 has been allowed to keep 2 of its creations, labeled SCP-100-2-A and SCP-100-2-B. SCP-100-2-A and B are constructs superficially resembling insects, assumed to be created by SCP-100, as they have occupied SCP-100 since its initial discovery. The names Ramon and Beatrice are welded into their backs respectively. SCP-100-1 appears to follow a ritualistic schedule, repeating the same actions daily. From 0800 to 1500, SCP-100-1 enters the storefront of SCP-100, seating itself behind a counter and attempting to bargain with any humans within the storefront. Occasionally, SCP-100-1 will return to the yard prematurely for reasons unknown. From 1500 to 1600, SCP-100-1 interacts with SCP-100-2A and B, communicating using vague hand and arm gestures. Interaction tends to consist of grooming, repair, and activities resembling fetch and hide-and-go-seek. See, how cool is that? I'm saying that SCP-100, hands down, chillest SCP in the books. He just wants to play with his giant junkyard bugs and haggle with strangers. It's a chill life for an SCP. I like to imagine that the guards are all like friendly with him. They all know that SCP-100 is really chill, so I hope that's the case. I hope they're friendly with SCP-100 and not rude. Also, for some reason in my mind, SCP-100 is like the main character from the movie Radio. Does anybody remember the movie Radio? From 1600 to 2100, SCP-100-1 performs various tasks, including taking stock of materials within the site, cleaning tools and heavy machinery, as well as cleaning the interiors and exteriors of the buildings present within SCP-100. From 2100 to 0000, SCP-100-1 performs what is assumed to be leisurely acts, ranging from creating new constructs, interacting with SCP-100-2A and B, and patrolling SCP-100. From 0100 to 0800, SCP-100-1 enters the residential building, where it remains seated at a desk for the duration of this time. In the event that a human enters the storefront in the interval of time that SCP-100-1 is seated behind the counter, SCP-100-1 will attempt to bargain with them, using a variety of gestures to convey meaning. Most attempts by SCP-100-1 are to sell scrap, figures of its own creation, or repair services. However, it has been known to purchase scrap. He's just a small business owner. I think that the Foundation has got this one mixed up. He's literally just a small business owner in South Carolina. And sure, he may be an autonomous pile of junk. He's just trying to make a living. Despite SCP-100-1's inability to read, it does possess the ability to perform basic mathematics, as demonstrated by its sales. Sales made by SCP-100-1 are typically met with some degree of unfairness. SCP-100-1 has been known to intentionally use faulty scales, as well as contaminate scrap piles with cheaper metals. It also demonstrates its knowledge of the area of effect within SCP-100, as SCP-100-1 has repeatedly sold constructs despite the loss of autonomy when exiting SCP-100. Efforts to confront SCP-100-1 about this have been met with both distress and indifference, with referral to a sign posted on the wall reading, "No refunds, man." I don't know if I'm allowed to do that accent, and I'm sure it was poor. My bad. But that is what it says. It does say that. SCP-100 was discovered on November 9th, 1976, following reports of strange machines operating from within the scrapyard. These rumors were discredited as urban legends, and a Foundation agent was sent to SCP-100 to act as the landowner until containment was performed under the guise of property sale. A wooden privacy fence was built along the former perimeter of SCP-100. One-way windows were installed in the storefront, and a highway now running through the nearby town of redirects the majority of civilian traffic. Alright, so after reading the description of SCP-100, it pretty much just confirms what I thought initially, and that is SCP-100 is the chillest SCP in the books. I also like the part where apparently SCP-100-1 just loves to scam people. He's using faulty scales and he's trying to just make shitty deals with people, and something about that is really funny to me. All he wants to do is make a couple bucks, or so it seems. I think that this might be my new favorite SCP. And it's clearly no threat to anybody or mankind or really anything like that. I mean, they literally can't leave the property. I feel like it would be a cool amusement park. They should just turn SCP-100 into an amusement park. And all these autonomous droids could... Okay, now that sounds fucked up. I take it back. Now there is an addendum at the end of this file, and I think it really gives us a better look at the big picture of SCP-100 and just a little more of the backstory. So I'm going to read that addendum now. Addendum 100-A. Records show the property is owned by one Joseph Duval, with the mailing address sharing the same name. Local utility companies report billing had stopped approximately 3 months before the discovery of SCP-100, which was found abandoned save for SCP-100-1 and SCP-100-2-A and B, as well as several avian and canine figures presumed to be made by SCP-100-1. The initial sweep of the structures revealed the residential building to be mostly bare, with the only sign of former occupants being a note found taped to the door of the storefront. Incident 100-A. On June 3, 2005, SCP-100-1 created a humanoid autonomous construct 10 centimeters in height, the first time SCP-100-1 has done so. Significant effort was put into this construct compared to others, with much greater detail being applied, including facial features and the letters JJ welded into the back, as well as stainless steel making up a majority of the body. SCP-100-1 placed the construct on the counter of the storefront for the duration of this scheduled interval, both using vague gestures to seemingly communicate with one another. Following the confiscation of this construct, SCP-100-1 remained seated within the residential building of SCP-100 for a total of 10 days. Man, because you guys, you took his little dude. He spent extra time, like you guys said, it was extra detailed, and then you guys took it away from him, and I assume destroyed it. It was his little buddy. That's fucked up. They should have let him keep him. It said it was only 10 centimeters. I'm American, so I don't know what that fucking means. If they measured him in bald eagles or Twinkies, I'd know. Let me look. How big is 10 centimeters? It was tiny. It was only 4 inches, roughly 4 inches in height. You definitely could have let him keep this little guy. He was obviously not a threat. I hate them for taking his little friend. I really do. I mean, and it obviously made him depressed. It said that he sat in that residential building for 10 days. He was probably sitting at that desk wondering where the fuck his son was. What did you do with my boy? Anyway, that is the end of SCP-100, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Doing these lesser known SCPs is probably something I'm going to continue to do in the future because I don't see a lot of these pop up on the Reddit threads or the wikis or whatever nearly as much. It's always SCP-49s and 106s. So to get some of these lesser known SCPs in here, I think is going to be really fun. So if you guys have any recommendations for me or SCPs that you would like to see me cover, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.